right, everybody's here now who booked for this event, and I want to say very welcome to Venerable Ajahn Sujano and to all of you who came here today in this lovely morning. In some countries it's believed that if you see a Buddhist monk in the street, or it's a good luck, it's a great fortune, so we're so lucky here today to have this opportunity to listen to teachings and explore mindfulness deeper. So I'm very delighted to welcome you to be here with us today, and welcome to you all. I will say a few words about housekeeping to begin with. We don't expect any fire alarm training, so in the event of alarm, please evacuate through this door and gather in the car park area. And the bathrooms are in the hall on this floor to your left, and refreshments are provided in the kitchen for you at breaks and anytime you wish. Today our guest on the forum is of an unusual profession, I would say. And this is a profession that has investigated, practiced and taught mindfulness much longer than the contemporary psychology and psychotherapy. Mindfulness is originated with the Buddha, and it has about 3,000 years of knowledge, teachings and experience. And I feel very happy today that Venerable Sujano kindly agreed to give us his presentation on mindfulness today. I met Venerable Sujano about 2 years ago when I started asking myself some very important questions about myself, and I was drawn into exploring more about mindfulness and mindful living because I started doing my mindful meditations. And I probably wouldn't be standing here today if not my very little knowledge and practice in mindfulness so far, because in the last couple of years, some of you know, life thrown at me some very difficult challenges, including the civil war in my country. So practicing mindfulness and trying to live mindfully helped me to still keep smiling, still function, and if I can, help other people to do the same. And on the top of what you've read so far about Venerable Sujano in the leaflet you got with the invitation to come here, I would add just a few. Venerable Sujano has some very challenging emotional traumas, I would say, in the last emotional experiences, probably better, challenges. After losing both of his parents in the last year, one after another, and of course we all know that the tragedy in Nepal has taken so many lives, and Venerable Sujano's family home has gone, his family doesn't have home, and I'm telling this only because to emphasize that mindfulness practice and mindfulness meditation and mindful living help us to cope with such difficult challenges. As counselors, we know what that means. We have some very significant symbols here, and they are very relevant to our day-to-day. The statue of the Buddha is here to remind us of the origin of mindfulness. The Buddha and mindfulness are like Carl Rogers and person-centered approach. So that's how I can compare it. if you talk about mindfulness, you can't ignore the fact that mindfulness was developed and taught first by the Buddha. The candle here symbolizes the light that dispels the darkness of fear, anxiety, and suffering. And the flowers have a great significance in mindful living and deep understanding of mindfulness. They symbolize the essence of our existence. Flowers, however fragrant or rare or pleasant to see and smell, they of course the subject of losing their color, rot and be cast away. And reflecting this, however influential, popular, attractive or unique we may be, we all are subject to old age and to be separated away from our loved ones at one day. This is the reality we can't ignore. With this in mind, it is believed by Buddhists we should use every opportunity to lead a positive, worthy and mindful life. And last evening in our meditation class at the center, we explored again the importance of learning and understanding by not accepting that we are told, but exploring, investigating, finding the truth for ourselves. And if it's not for us, leave the path. So it's not something obvious you have to take and blindly believe. You have to, after listening, you have to investigate, feel it, if it's the right path for you, and then decide if it's good or not good for you. And by reaching our own understanding of our reality in those very moments when we practice in our counseling sessions, we can begin to see the essence of cause and effect in our lives and lives of our clients. And in my view, this has so much relevance to the teachings and talks we are going to experience today. So, having made that connection, it was obvious we should hear more of practice of mindful living that has its origins long before counseling, but which maybe, just maybe not, Carl Rogers experienced when he went to China in his early 20s, and he got inspired by what he experienced there. So please welcome Venerable Sujano to our workshop today.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for having me, especially Lena. Requested me, I think, 6 months ago. After that 6 months, so many things happened. And Lena sent me an email saying, "Are you okay, Ajahn, to continue this while I was in Nepal?" And I said, "Okay, that's fine." Now here I am. A little bit excited actually, because having seen all the faces and the experience, probably you have a lot about this mindfulness section as well as in a counseling part. To be honest, I used the counseling service last 2 months ago after my mother passed away. Also, about 5 or 6 years ago, I had a chance to explore a little bit about the counseling. So, and I end up with the Carl Rogers theory and also some other counseling theories. And after that, I wanted to continue as a counseling person as well, but I couldn't make it yet. That's how I am here. And in regards to mindfulness, to be honest, although I have studied mindfulness, I didn't know mindfulness. I know only meditation. And for about 7 or 8 years, being in the UK, different places, I may have used the word mindfulness, but I never call it as a part, the main topic as mindfulness meditation. I always say meditation class. And then I was engaging and teaching, helping other monks in the teachings in different temples about the meditation. Never know what is mindfulness is. I may have used the word while I'm explaining and teaching. And when I came to Aberdeen, and then we set up this meditation center, and suddenly this mindfulness word is like, this is the main part. And this is the main thing that we have to do. We have to introduce. And now, kind of, I lose the word meditation. And now, almost all the time, I'm using mindfulness. So it's completely changed. And in regards to the meditation, I started meditating when I was about 17. So that was 10 days, very strict, silent meditation. And after that, that sparked that I want to learn more. So I became a monk, and I'm still learning. And the word, I found mindfulness recently, 3 years now. And this mindfulness, again, kind of a buzzword. Everybody knows what mindfulness is now. And then everybody's talking about the mindfulness. If you have a stress, if you're having a trouble in work, and if you're having a problem at home, why don't you do a little bit of mindfulness meditation? So everywhere you can see the mindfulness, 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 mindfulness. And in the meantime, now mindfulness from the positive sense coming towards the negative sense. Somebody saying recently, I think 1 or 2 days ago, I was reading online saying mindfulness is not the ultimate ultimate things to solve our mental health problems. So these are coming now, and mindfulness is not the right one. Mindfulness is not the one that we can cure everything like that. So from nowhere, coming to the positive and coming towards the negative. And probably in a few years later, once upon a time there was a mindfulness. And just curious, you may have done the mindfulness courses, probably they designed by the John Kabat-Zinn. If you have done that, then you already know what is mindfulness about. And to me, I also learned this mindfulness course. It's called Mindfulness Living. In terms of we are living in day-to-day life. Only mistake there I found is not teaching us how to let go. And then I found not teaching us to understand the change. How do we classify that change? And then we are internally or intentionally we are engaging how to change things and how to let go things. So that's what I found. But in Buddhist meditation, it's a little different. It's a little different in a way that the mindfulness in Buddhism is something that you learn to notice and changes occurs its own way. And then letting go is not you are trying to let it go, but it will go itself. So that's two different things I found. In a Buddhist meditation, mindfulness basically means sati. Have you ever heard the word sati? Let me write it down. So this is the sati and translates as mindfulness. Sati means memory, or to remember. Memory or to remember. Remembering what? Memory of what? So, memory of what we are doing in the past, and then remembering about the past, not only the present here. Sati means memory or remembering. So remembering or memory, past, present and future. So that is sati. So now, the mindfulness that we know normally is being present here and now. That means mindfulness. But whereas in Buddhism, mindfulness means past, present, and the future. And this function, mindfulness, is something that we are aware all the time. And this awareness, again, is only present here. So there are two words, right? Present, here, awareness. It cannot be in the past or it cannot be in the future. Awareness is always here. So mindfulness alone is not enough. We have to have the awareness of now. So that's why in Buddhism, two words comes together. Sati and Sampajanya. So Sampajanya means clear awareness or clear comprehension. Comprehending of what? Comprehending of what I am doing now. And that only here at now present. Here and now. So mindfulness, we can be aware of past, we can be aware of now, and we can be aware of future. Like you are mindful before you come to here. And you are mindful now. And you will be mindful after here where I'm going to be. So you're mindful. You're aware or not about your mindfulness. So that's the case. That's why these two words comes together. And without these two, we cannot call it as mindfulness. And this mindfulness, sometimes it is called the great assistant. It is assisting you to be happy, to be aware of yourself, to know yourself, wherever you are, whatever you are doing. So that is the mindfulness in Buddhism. And let's say now on, just the word mindfulness rather than covering all. So I wrote it down, a couple of definitions. Thich Nhat Hanh, you may have heard, and the miracle of mindfulness. So in that book he said, mindfulness refers to keeping one's consciousness alive to the present reality. It is the miracle of which we master and restore ourselves. And the same thing, have you ever heard, those who have done the mindfulness course, you may have heard the book called Diamond Mind. So Rob Nain, he said, mindfulness is knowing what is happening when it is happening without preference. And for the John Kabat-Zinn, his mindfulness is a turning towards life, to live life as if each moment is important, or if each moment counted and could be worked with, even if it is a moment of pain, sadness, despair, or fear. And meantime, I was trying to little bit of organize the presentation, so I was trying to make some PowerPoints. And the more I wrote it down, it's getting less and less, I know, on the mindfulness. And then comes in a lot of things. Oh, I should put it this one. Oh, I should say this one. Oh, this should be that one. You know, it's coming in and in. So, and then I thought, okay, that's enough. So I stopped writing too much. But anyway, so this is what I have said about the mindfulness. So mindfulness is remembering to pay attention to the present moment, experience with an open and accepting attitude. So in other words, being mindful at the very moment. So being mindful at the very moment, here and now. And this mindfulness, while I was writing this, I thought of the children who got the presents in their birthday. or even our birthday, if somebody gives us a present, where is our mind? We are focused with that present, and we are so happy with the present. So that means our mind is with the present. So we are with the mind. Our mind is with us. So that's the first mindfulness that we have, and we are aware of what's going on. And the second thing, if you know the Chinese word, mindfulness means the present and the heart. Two words combined is called mindfulness. So that means present heart. Our heart is that very present moment. So that is called mindfulness in Chinese. So where there is a heart, there is a mind. So that's why it's called mindfulness. And the purpose of mindfulness meditation or mindfulness is performing not mindlessly. We are not performing anything with mindlessly. And that means when we are speaking, when we are working, or when we are thinking. So we are not speaking with unmindfully. We are speaking mindfully. And in the same time, when we are doing something, we are doing with mindfully. So that's what Thich Nhat Hanh used to say, when you are washing the dish, wash the dish. Nothing else. And when you are in front of someone, just be with him, with her. And he used the word, such a beautiful word he used, darling, I'm here for you. So that is what that means. Darling, I'm here for you. It's simple. But we forgot to say. We're sitting together and then we're playing a mobile phone these days. And there is no conversation at all. So that is how the purpose of this mindfulness is to be with you, where you are, when you are, whatever you are doing. Speaking, working, or thinking. And especially thinking is important. Although our body here, everybody sees our body, but where is our mind? Right? So, be with ourselves is very important here. And that being ourselves is to know our body. And to know our body, we have to share loving kindness to us. Be compassionate. Be loving kindness to ourselves. Once we are compassionate to our own body, then everything will dissolve. Everything will come. You will be happy. So that's why in practice of meditation, first of all, it comes with relaxation of your body and mind. And that means once you know how to relax the body, relax the mind, then automatically you're sharing compassion to yourself. You're sharing a loving kindness to yourself. As long as you cannot share this kindness, this compassion to yourself, you cannot get any improvement in the practice of meditation. And this we can do by noticing what we are saying, what we are doing, what we are thinking. So that is the purpose of mindfulness, is not to do anything without the mind. We are doing mindfully. And this is the mindlessness, right? We are doing everything without the mind or absent of our mind is mindlessness. These two comes together. If we are aware, if we are with our mind, then we are mindful. So we are ourselves. We are happy. And all the time. As the Robner, he said, what's happening when it is happening? While it is happening. So that time we are aware at that very moment. But if we are not aware of it, we are thinking something else and going along with the thoughts, then we are not mindful. We are doing something mindlessly. That's why when we are chopping something, we cut our fingers. Or when we are washing our dishes, that's why we break the dish. plates. And even when we are walking, we hit the stones. We fell down in potholes like that. So that's again because we are thinking somewhere else, being in somewhere else. So that is the purpose of mindfulness. And according to Buddhism, there are two kinds of mindfulness. One is general mindfulness, and the second is called the mindfulness of four foundation. You may have heard. Okay? Mindfulness of four foundation. And that's body, feeling, emotion, and then mental phenomena. Mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of feeling, mindfulness of emotions or mind, and then the last one is mind objects. So four foundations. And in a general mindfulness, that is just the general in a way that if someone who's doing something bad, they're also mindful. That is not called mindfulness in Buddhism, because that's a wrong mindfulness. Like someone who wants to rob some banks. He has a lot of mindfulness. He put a lot of work in mindfully what next going to be and how we are going to enter and how we can take the money out, and before the police arrives, how we can rush away somewhere, right? So he was planning very mindfully. And this mindfulness is not the right mindfulness. And this doesn't count in Buddhism. So mindfulness here, it should be, if we have any bad things, bad behaviors that we may have, we have to reduce. And then, once we have reduced, we have to be able to stop it. Stop doing any bad, unwholesome activities. And then the third one is generating the wholesome activities, good activities. And once we have developed these good activities, we have to maintain that good activities. So that's why this is called the cultivation. And meditation in Buddhism, means the cultivation. It's called the bhavana. So that exactly what does it mean, the meditation? Bhavana means the cultivation of good thought, good action, and good speeches. That is the mindfulness in Buddhism. So robbing, planning and things is not the right one, and it's not the mindfulness in Buddhism. Okay? And this mindfulness meditation that Buddha mentioned, very famous one, it's called the Satipatthana, or the Foundation of Mindfulness. And this is a very famous one, and everybody quotes this discourse to relate the teachings of the Buddha and also about the meditation. And in that, the Buddha said, this is the one-way path, purification of beings. And then for the surmounting of sorrow and lamentation. So, in this it says, it is for the purification of being, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the extinction of suffering and grief, for walking on the path of truth, for the realization of supreme happiness, and the complete extinction and ultimate happiness. So this is the purpose of the mindfulness meditation in Buddhism. So that's why this is the path for the purification of beings. Right? And is a path that we normally call mental trouble. Sorrow, grief, stress, distress, these things. And this path, this practice will help us to eliminate or overcome these situations. And through that, we will be happy. And also further than that, the benefit of it, it says, this is the modern version of mindfulness benefit. Okay? And that's called improved communication and problem solving. and then concentration or the focus will increase, and ability to deal with different situations. And especially this is the core one actually, ability to deal with any situation. And we have a balanced life, we become a creative, and also well-being of our body and the mind. So these are the benefits of mindfulness meditation. But we have to think that is not only in Buddhism. And this is not a religion either. Anybody can practice it, anybody can get the same benefit of it. You don't have to be a Buddhist to get this benefit. You don't have to pay respect to the Buddha either. No. So this is not a religion, and this is not a Buddhism, okay? And it doesn't take any time. Although it says it doesn't take any time, so you have to do it all the time, because it hasn't got any time, because you are mindful all the time. And there is no success or failure in meditation, this mindfulness meditation. Okay, you never fail in mindfulness meditation. Okay? And there is no success either. Normally in our day-to-day life, we want to achieve something. We want to have something. We want to be somewhere. And only then we call ourselves, we succeed. Right? But in mindfulness meditation, no. If you have that destiny, you fail from the beginning. Because you're mentally creating that I have to do it, I have to do it. You're forcing yourself. By forcing, you cannot. As I mentioned, you have to relax the body and the mind from the beginning. It's the gradual process. It's like driving a car. When you learn how to drive a car, it's not a quick fix. You have to learn gradually, and then end of the day, you'll know how to drive, and you go to the driving test, and then you pass the test, and you thought, oh, I am success. No, it's just the beginning of the driving license. It's just the beginning of a driving process. Okay, we have to learn even more how to drive carefully. I remember after I passed my driving license, and then I went to camping in Aberdeen, and then along the way to go to the Aberdeen, there is a huge mountain, right? You have to cross the mountain. And as a newly passed driver, I thought you have to put a high gear, and then you can go faster to climb the mountain. It's not that. So I was in the gear 4 and then rushing onto the mountain. But after being for a while, this began to come down. I was worried, so I have to stop and then restart again. Right? When you restart again, gear number 1, and it gradually pulls the car up. When the pulls the car up, and then you can change the gear to 2 or 3. You cannot go to 4. So that's the process. That's begun. Same with the meditation. It's just a tool. We can use at any time, all the time, anywhere. And the more we use it, we become fluent. It's like driving a car. The more we drive the car, we know when to stop, how to stop, without telling us, you have to stop now. No, it's automatic. You do it. When something happens, you brake the car, change the gear, and keep quiet. And then once it's clear, again we go. So that's the meditation. This is the mindfulness meditation. So that's why it doesn't take any time. And it hasn't got any, what's called the destination. Okay? We cannot put the destination at all. The very moment when we put the destination, we fail. And that comes to the Buddha's teaching, the Four Noble Truths. And the second noble truth, when you have a desire, then that's why you got the suffering. Once you have a desire to have something, once you have a desire to be somewhere, then we have a problem. Okay? And that's how we become stressed. Oh, I cannot do this one. I cannot have this one. Why? Alright? Like that. And then we fail. So same with the meditation. Okay? In this mindfulness meditation, we have no destiny. Although there is a destiny, it's called the supreme happiness at the end. That is the outcome. That is the outcome of our diligent practice, not the destiny that we want to be. Okay? So, and further, we have to have a right attitude as well. And the right attitude is very important. Without having this right attitude, we cannot go anywhere. Okay? And this right attitude we can have only if we have known this mindfulness meditation is helping us. So we have to have the confidence. We have to have a confidence that this is helping. This is working. Okay? It's like a courage that we have. After we have tried, yes, this is working. And we have to have this confidence. And once we have a confidence, then we have this attitude of, yes, it is working. And we have to have this attitude. Once we have this attitude, then our behavior will change. Okay? And our character will change towards this meditation. And without this attitude of that this meditation is helping, we cannot go anywhere. So that's why this attitude of this mindfulness meditation is, it is working, it hasn't got any time limit, and it hasn't got any destiny. We are working. It's a gradual process. There is no quick fix. So, this right attitude is sometimes I used to call ABCD. ABCD. So we have to have this right attitude. Once we have a right attitude, then our behavior will change. Once our behavior change, our character will change, and our character will change. So we become disciplined, and as well, in the same time, we will be able to detach from things that is bothering us. And also, in the same time, we have to, if we are practicing this mindfulness meditation, we have to have the intention. And sometimes in a mindful practice, in nowadays, in contemporary mindfulness practice, it's called motivation. What motivates you to meditate? But in Buddhism, it's called intention. We have to have the good intention to meditate. And that meditation will help to build up our attitude. Right? And this attitude, again, comes with the pure attention, clear attention on things that we are doing, speaking, on our action that we are doing, physical actions, and also thinking about what we are thinking of. So that also will help us to improve or increase our attitude, right attitude. And this right attitude will help us to deal with things that we have. And this right attitude is something that helps to deal with every situation that we have, no matter good or bad. And this right attitude will help us to deal with anything that comes to contact with us. And this is from the beginning of meditation, it coming towards the middle, that we are able to deal with anything that comes to contact with our senses. When we see something, when things come to contact with our eyes, how do we perceive it? How do we react to it? Right? And then same with the hearing the sound, same with the eating things, same with the comes to contact with our body and even our thoughts. That attitude will help us to define where we want to be. When we see something, we define ourselves, judge. If we have a right attitude, we will not judge, just as it is. We judge because of our attitude. And that attitude that we have is again because of we have a preconcept that this is like this and this is like that. And it should be like this. Okay? And because of that, from a right attitude, we lost the right attitude, and then we're creating a new story. Developing a new story, and then we end up building up with the thoughts after thought. Many thoughts, and we float in with the thoughts. And as a result, we become stressed. We cannot be happy. So that's how it is. So intention, attitude, and attention. These three words helps to understand this mindfulness. Okay? And in that case, like if we are not aware of these, whatever comes to contact with our senses, and our attitude is not right, and because of that, our reaction to these things will define, as I mentioned, where we want to be, what I want to be. We live either in the past or in the future. We never stay here at the present moment, although we want to be. But we almost all the time, we lost to be here. I normally used to bring a simile that if our body can speak, our body will say, hey, I'm here. Okay? I also mentioned in my book as well that if our body can say, then it will say, hey, I'm here. Can you notice that I'm here with you? So we lost our body almost all the time. We are staying in the past almost all the time. And with the data that we have from the past, we're trying to make sense in the future. What is going to be? So it seems like you're investing in a share market. But to buy some shares in the market, first you will calculate the company's history, data, how it is running. And then after you have investigated and you felt that this is right, and if I invest on this company, I'm going to get some benefit. And so we invest. So same with our mind, that will happening all the time. If we carefully investigate our mental activities, then we see that we are almost 90% calculating about the data that we have. And then on the basis of the data, thinking about the future. But we forgot the precious moment here, this very moment. And we forgot the body, which is never in the past or in the future. This body is always here, never in the past, never in the future. So that's why in Buddhism it's called know this present moment. Some says, how do you know the present moment? If you know the present moment, and if you're living in the present moment, then how can we develop our future? The future comes from now. Starts here. And then the past, whatever happened already, we cannot claim it back. So the meditation helps us to forget. These are the lessons that I have learned, and then now I will stop here. Now I will start the new chapter from here. So in Abhidharma, the one of the books, not a book, section of the scripture, Abhidharma, in that book, basically about the mind and the matters, and especially how mind works. It's like a psychology, higher psychology. Defines how many kinds of mind and how the mind works. When the mind is in that position, how this mind is creating this, creating that, and so and so. in that book, it mentioned that if we have a good thought at this very moment, second thought will be good. And then if we can maintain the second thought, it will lead to another, third good thought. So maintaining the good thought every second, every moment, it will last for future. Our future will be good too. But what normally happens is we forget this very moment, and then why this has happened? Why me? We question, why me? And then as a result, we go, where is the good thought? There is no good thought. We think that is good, that I am investigating. No. We are investigating, we are engaging and working with the past, not present here with the body and the mind. We are dealing with the past memories, past incidents. And how can we get the good in the future? We forgot to work here now. And it's a little bit difficult as well to understand, because we are dealing with the mind. And so one of the good benefit of this mindfulness, that's why, is I normally used to call it filing the files. So if you're working in an office, especially if you are the PA, then you are filing the files, or which one should go first, or which one boss should have looked at. So we put the first that one. We're not put everything in together and then give it, so boss doesn't know what to do it first. So as a PA, we put the priority first and then gradually go down. So same with the mindfulness. Once we become mindful, then we know which one we should put first. So our life become a balance. We can balance our life, because we have filed everything which coming first and which going to be. But normally we cannot do that. As a result, what happens? We become a stress. And as the stress increases, and then we become more stressed, and our body become tense. Our moods changes, and we become very restless, and we cannot have a rest. We cannot go to sleep. So 2 or 3 days ago, I was watching a YouTube with Ajahn Brahm. Okay? He's an English monk. He was graduated from Cambridge, and now he lives in Australia. So he has been in Australia for over 20 years, and he's teaching there. He's a Buddhist monk. He said, when we go to sleep, we want to sleep. So that's why we cannot sleep. And then when we come to meditate, we want to meditate, so we cannot meditate. So he gave an opposite way of making it easier. When you go to sleep, meditate. When you come to meditate, go to sleep. So that means try to sleep. So when you are sleeping, try to meditate. Then automatically, all the thoughts that's running in our head will stop. Once that stops, automatically we sleep. And we even don't know when we sleep. But when we meditate, try to sleep. So push our heart to sleep, and then we cannot sleep. So we are in end of doing a meditation. Okay? So that's how he puts in about this sleeping. And once we know how to sleep, then our body will relax, our mind will relax, and then these so-called mental problems will automatically come down. For me, myself, normally whenever I'm very tired, I meditate. And meditate is not to get rid of this tiredness and these troubles that I have. But I meditate to see my body and the mind. And the rest, it will take care of itself. Okay? And especially tiredness. I normally go and meditate, or even just lie down and do the relaxation meditation. Sometimes it's called the body scan here. Okay? And just do it. And then after a couple of minutes of practicing this, when I come out from that practice, I'm refreshed. Okay? So that's how we see the benefit of this meditation. Okay? That's how we see that how can we deal with these troubles that we have. Well, unfortunately, we are designed to think, and we are designed to plan, and especially living in this consumerism time, we always think about it, and always think ahead. What is going to be? What I am going to have. And as a result, mindlessly we are thinking too much. Okay? We are working too much. Running and running and running and running. Endlessly we are running. And that's our thought going on again and again and again and again. Why me, why me, why me, why me? So the practice of mindfulness meditation, what suggests is leave that problem aside. Look at our own self first, body and mind. And then once we are calm, collective, and then when we think about this problem, we can see it clearly. It's like we are in this globe. We don't know about the globe. We have to go to the moon so we can see the globe. How the globe looks like. The same with our problems. Leave that problem aside and then meditate, knowing our own self. And then we see the problem, how it is functioning. And then we will be able to filing it out. Which one we should put, which one we should do it first. So gradually then we will be able to deal with it. But normally what happens is our mind is so scattered. Okay, so scattered that it's like a meal of thought. Creating thought after thought, thought after thought. In Buddhism it's called the papancha. Okay, papancha means endless of making stories. And that endless of making stories because first it comes to contact with our senses. When it comes to contact with our senses, because of our preconcept that we have, we try to generate something. And then generating on that, we multiply. And then we judge. And then after we have judged, we make so many commentaries. And then commentary after commentary, commentary after commentary, and it's going on and on and on. And then the end with saying, why I can't solve this problem. So that's how it goes. And that is the mindlessly working. We are mindlessly thinking everything. So as a result, and we have so many troubles that cause the fear, that cause the guilty, that cause the helplessness, confusion, anger, sadness, shame, loneliness, stress, depression, worries. This will come. And this is just because of the mindlessness that we have. And to cure that one, what we have to do? To be mindful. To be mindful. And here I put the two sentences. So mindfulness is presence of mind. And that means to have your mind with yourself. And the mindlessness is the absence of your mind. And that means not to have your mind with yourself. Okay? And in regards to this mindlessness, last month I was shaving my hair. And there were so many things happening. Earthquake, fundraising, contact to the people in Nepal, and contact to my family, and I couldn't contact that time. So much happening at that time. And then the very moment, on the same afternoon, I had to go to the marriage ceremony in Ellen. So many things happening, and I had to shave my hair. So, shaved my hair, had a shower, went to my bedroom, I changed my clothes, and then I was ready to go. And I realized I haven't shaved these eyebrows. So that was just about to go out. And because I used glass and it was a little dust in here, so I wanted to clean it, and then I make it, and then I realized, oh, I haven't shaved my eyebrows. And now I meditate. I leave everything there, and I meditate what's going on, and sat down, meditate, look at my sensations in my body sensation, and then I stayed there meditating, being with body and mind. And after that, okay, now I go to shave my eyebrows. So I went to shave my eyebrows, and then get ready again, I drove. Okay. So that was because I was thinking so many things and I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't mindful. I wasn't mindful of what I am doing there. I was mindful what's going on, what I'm going to do, but I wasn't aware. Okay? So I was mindlessly working. I was mindlessly shaving my hair, having a shower, dressing me up, getting ready, and then going out. I was doing everything perfect. There's no wrong. The only wrong was I wasn't aware what I was doing. So I had to stop and then start again. So that is the mindless. And as a result, once we have this mindless mind, then that caused so many stress. And I realized that day I was having a very tense body. My mind was so tense. My body was so tense, exhausted. Yeah? And then after this 5 minutes of being with myself, helped me to release. And then comes back to the life. And then I was mindfully driving, and then mindfully attending the service. And in the meantime, I was trying to contact with my family back in Nepal, like that. So yes, that is the cause and effect of being not mindful. And in the same time, mindfulness helps. Okay? So, this is for this morning, and we will do the practice of doing nothing. Okay? And before do this practice of doing nothing, if you have anything to ask, you may. So, practice of doing nothing is basically doing nothing. This, not just our physical and verbal action that we are not doing, also mentally doing nothing. So, stop thinking and stop engaging with the mind and leaving your old heaviness onto the chair. And feeling that sensation of heat or cold. And even that feeling of this heat or cold, doing nothing with that either. So try not to engage with anything. While observing the sensation, touching point, noticing that how your mind is engaging whether you are forcing yourself to engage or you are observing objectively. Or do you feel that you're holding any parts of your body?